Welcome to Doing Different, episode 13. This podcast is my personal project and is not officially affiliated with any other social media sites and sources. Doing Different celebrates women over 50 who are aging gracefully and inspire through their courage, creativity, and individuality. Whether you're exploring new passions, tackling challenges head on, or simply finding joy in the little things, this is your space. We welcome those from all walks of life, especially those who are empty nesters, caregivers, going through chronic pain, terminal illness, divorce, suffering from mental illness, addiction, widowed, disabilities, authors, and podcasters. On Doing Different, you are seen, you are heard, and you are understood. You are not alone. You have a purpose, and your life is just beginning. Our special guest today is my friend Joy Shears Roberts. She has been doing different and learning how to stop trying to fit into others' expectations and is finally owning her own voice and passions, even if the road is slow. Welcome, Joy. How are you today?
Hi, Kim.
Nice to see you, and thank you for being on my show or on my podcast. I know that you live your life honestly and authentically through your struggles. Can you elaborate a little bit on that for our listeners today?
Well, hi, Kim. Thank you for having me.
You're
The way
welcome.
that I live my life is I just try to be me. I try to get through the day, and if I have a negative thought, which is almost all the time, I try my hardest to spin it and turn it into something positive and tell myself, no, that's not the way you should be thinking. Um,
Yeah,
why not think in a positive manner?
right. Absolutely. I think that we all should be doing that and count our blessings. And it amazes me when I actually set my mind to doing that, which is not always all the time. It's not all the time. When I start writing down everything that I'm thankful for and counting all my blessings, it makes all the things that I struggle with and complain about so small. And
It's
so
a
I think that's great.
it's a very hard practice to do, and I must admit, I'm not always very good at it, but when I do remember to turn things into a positive manner, I find that I'm less grumpy and
Yeah.
a lot happier.
Yeah.
Um,
Because you're focusing on the good things. And
right.
that's what everybody should be doing because um the negativity, there's so much of it out there and on social media, which is another reason why I created my podcast is to bring positivity into communities and into the social media and let's, tell some good stories and even through our struggles we can find good out of it. And so that was another reason is to bring positivity and just count our blessings. And so, well, thank you for sharing that. I so appreciate it. And I agree with it as well. And I also was going to ask you what your transformation work is. Like, what is your primary? I guess that's question number two. I thought it might have been number three, but what is your primary transformation work?
Like my mission,
Sure. Yeah, like your primary, what is it in your life that you primarily are transforming in you that you're working on? What would you say is a transformation that is happening?
Well, I'm I'm very critical of myself. And when I don't master something right away, there's always next time. Um, and it's hard for me to not feel defeated, like, oh, I didn't get it right the first time, but you know,
Yeah.
nobody does anything perfectly
Right.
right off the
Nobody.
bat. So
Right.
I guess um having grace for myself
Yes.
and having mercy for myself, and in turn um sharing that grace and mercy with whoever I come in contact with um my husband or my kids or my neighbors. I
Yeah.
just want to encourage them and share
Yeah.
share grace.
Because don't, for me, I know that I feel better when I am showcasing others and I am encouraging others. It helps me, it brings me joy. Never thought that I would say that. I never thought that I would do that because I never considered myself an encourager. I had the hardest time encouraging my kids. I mean, I would normally encourage them, like, stay in school and get good grades and hang out with good people, the normal stuff. But as far as complimenting and encouraging, I had the hardest time with it. And now it's uh, developing in me more so. And I just find so much joy in it. And I think that unless we start with ourselves, unless we love ourselves, unless we give grace and mercy to ourselves, we are not going to be able to give it to others
That's right.
because we stay angry and we stay, you know, focused on self. I mean, and we do have to focus on self as far as, giving ourselves that mercy. And that's really hard because I am negative on myself as well. And I catch it and then I find a positive, for the negative that
Yeah,
I've just said. Then I will say something positive, and it always makes it a lot better for me.
yeah.
So I definitely understand where you're coming from. And also, I know that you had mentioned to me about your healing, your joy, your purpose, that it was all possible even after trauma. And can you give us an example of how or what that looks like to be able to still have that joy and purpose after trauma?
Well, let me bring you back about 50 some odd years ago.
Yeah.
When I was two, I fell into a pool.
Oh, wow.
And long story short, my family found me and rushed me to the hospital. And when I got to the hospital, I arrived DOA, dead on arrival.
Oh,
And there was nothing up here.
oh my
Um,
gosh.
and everything. My extremities were just like this. And um everything I learned up until that point, like chewing, um, talking, walking, was gone. Um,
Wow.
I had just, I was no more.
Wow.
Um,
But you
And
survived.
through the power of God, I
Yes.
survived. And so of course lots of lots of, there were lots of um prayer services, lots of physical healing. My mom made the choice to go ahead and disregard what the doctors had told her and say, no, we're going to do this
Hmm.
because the doctors were um, telling my parents, go ahead and institutionalize her.
Oh
Um,
no.
I'll be nothing more than, she'll be nothing more than a vegetable.
Oh no.
Um, well, long story short, after lots of prayers, lots of physical therapy and everything, God touched my life in a very magnificent way.
Yes.
And um, now on this side of my life, I have made the choice, the active choice to use my life for his glory and
Amen.
um, be positive
Mhm.
and encourage people. And I I've been I've done a lot of things in my life, a lot of things that I'm very proud of. Um, I've been on mission trips. I've just celebrated my 27th anniversary. I have
Wow.
three children that I'm so proud of. Sorry.
Oh,
Lots
I
of
didn't see
thunder in the
anybody.
background.
I didn't see
Um,
anybody.
and anyway, I I choose to live my life um in a way that I can glorify God
Amen.
and make him proud and be as positive as I can.
Yes, you're a miracle. And
Thank
he healed you and he revived you. You could have been institutionalized and or they could have not even wanted to continue trying to revive you. I don't know how many minutes they worked on you to with CPR or whatever it was, but I know that after so much time of not
I don't know.
breathing, then yeah, there's they say what is it, 3 minutes or 4 minutes without breathing?
I don't know any of the details. I wasn't told that.
Oh
Um,
wow.
I was spared that. My mom chose to focus on my healing, and that was gonna happen. Um, and so I don't think she allowed any kind of negativity
Right.
around.
Right,
So
absolutely. Well,
consequently, that kind of made me who I am.
that's right. And your name is Joy. And I mean, you're exhuming joy, and I think that's just so wonderful. God has a plan for all of us, and he definitely had a plan for you. And I think that's such a beautiful story. And you're such an inspiration. And I hope that anyone that's listening out there, if you feel like giving up, or you feel depressed because you have a disability, then I encourage you to follow Joy. And I will be posting links in the description of this show once I edit it, and you'll be able to follow her on all those different platforms, and she will bring encouragement and positivity and joy. And I am so happy about that. I also wanted to ask you how you see your story growing and what support would help you to get there faster. Because I know that you had mentioned to me before that by continuing to share honestly, messy parts and all, to inspire others to live boldly and love deeply. I know that that's your passion and I know that that's your desire. And so, with your story and with what you're doing on all of your different platforms, what do you think would help you get to possibly more platforms, or maybe something that would support you to, maybe if you were ever interested in writing a book or a memoir, or do you have any thoughts on that at all?
Um, right now, I- I'm just choosing on focusing on my social media. So if our friends can like and share this video, follow me at Just a Sparkle of Joy.
I love it. I love it.
Um, that would mean the entire world to me. I I try to very carefully filter everything that is on my social media so it's not full of garbage or unwanted
Yeah.
things. My heart is just to be a light, um, and share positivity. And I guess one of my passions, um, is, to be quite honest, when you're disabled, not to feel sorry for myself or say, oh, poor me. But when you're disabled, you're really rather isolated. And then all the negative thoughts come into me and or come into you. And I feel like the entire world sees you through an oh poor me thing.
Oh,
So it
right.
is my personal goal, if that makes sense, to flip it on its head
Yeah,
and say, disabled people can do this too.
exactly.
And we can lead productive and satisfying and joyful lives just like you. So don't feel bad for us.
Right, exactly. And I can relate to that with, a disabled son who is struggling right now. He's feeling not sorry for himself, but just frustrated with the many disabilities or disorders, I
Yeah.
should say, because it's not just one, it's six. And
Mm.
so he it does affect sometimes what he can and cannot do, as I'm sure that is, also for you. But he's got to, I'm encouraging him to look at the positive and look at the things he has done. And he has done so much, and I'm so proud of him. And I'm so proud of you for wanting to get your voice out there, to be an advocate. Basically, is what you're doing. Is It's sort of an advocacy that you're doing to spread joy, like you just said, for those with disability and feel isolated. and that they don't have to feel um that nobody cares, because people do care and people need people. People, uh the disability community needs that encouragement, and I think that you are a voice for that. And I
Thank you.
I am just so encouraged by you. And I know that um, when sharing your story, do you ever feel that there are any parts that are unresolved at all, or that you would like to work on a little bit more?
Well, sure. I mean, everybody has stuff that they want to improve in themselves. Eh, The key is to not focus on the negative,
Right,
but take something and say, okay, how can I do that better?
right, right.
Like, I, this sounds ridiculous, but around my home, I use a walker, and I sometimes get busy and forget to depend on my walker.
Oh.
And I may trip and fall. And I get really, really angry after I fall. And I'm too prideful. I won't accept for help because I'm busy, busy, busy inside my head, analyzing, okay, what the heck made me fall? Let's not fall again.
And then you realize it's because you didn't use the walker.
No, it's because I tripped over a shoe or I tripped
Oh.
over something, and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, going back to your question, um, I guess we all want to improve on ourselves in other ways. And so just by sitting down and analyzing, okay, how can I do things better? So,
Yes.
like, I'll give you another example. I I can't keep house to save my life. And I just found victory because I was able to clean the shower by myself, all by myself. It took me a good 2 months to do it. But
Oh.
now I'm like, hey!
Yes, yes, it's a victory. You need to celebrate that. Have your
And
husband take you out to eat.
well, I had to think outside the box.
Yeah,
Okay, how am I gonna do this? Because I can't do it 2 hours all at once. That's gonna
yeah,
kill me.
yeah.
But so if I take 10 minutes a day, sit in my shower chair, and just scrub the heck out of my shower door, that works.
Yes, absolutely. Let me ask you, do you feel physical pain or discomfort or what? I know that you've told me before that you get really tired, and is it because you're having any kind of pain at all in your body?
Well, I get pain when it rains.
Okay.
And I think that's because I had a knee replacement a couple years ago. And
Oh,
so during the winter and during hurricane season, that's just
yes.
as far as my exhaustion goes, I think that's just the sweet spot of life I'm in.
Yes, yes, yes. I wish that I could go to bed earlier. Um, but as I get older, I'm going to be 60 in October. And I, f- you would have thought that I would want to go to bed early. You were mentioning to me the other day when we were chatting online that you go to bed pretty early. And I was like, oh, wow, she's probably getting up at the time that I'm going to bed. There's just something that just causes this insomnia, and I'm yet to still find out what's going on. So, I'm a huge advocate of um, herbal medicine. And so, the chamomile teas and the lavender, that really does work. That really does settle me down. It's during the night that, the waking up. And I think that's from having to go to the bathroom so much. So, that's another thing that we're struggling with, right? As we get older, but we're, I like to say, not just we're aging gracefully, but we're aging joyfully. And so if we just set our minds and embrace our, um, I don't want to say scars, of life, of the struggles, but if we just embrace those parts of us that we've been through, the trauma that we've been through, the whatever it is, whether it's tons of surgeries, whether it's um, family issues or whatever it is that we go through, I believe makes us stronger. And I know that sounds cliche, but it really is truth. It does make you stronger. And I've noticed that things that used to bother me when I was raising the kids, um, they don't bother me anymore because I know that the outcome is going to be for my good, that God is going to take what was meant for harm and he's going to turn it around for my good.
That's
And
right.
when I trust God with that, and I thank Him for the learning lessons, and I thank Him for the growth, and I put my whole life in His hands because He knows what's best for me, even if it doesn't feel good. Ultimately, the joy will come from it. Joy comes in the morning. So, yeah, that's powerful. I mean, so basically, the other question that I wanted to ask you was, I know that you're wanting to grow your social media, and I know that you just came out recently from a candle business that you had for how many years? 15?
I did candles for about 15 years just as an effort to keep my mind going
Yes.
because I didn't want to be, well, to be known, when you're disabled, you have, there are a lot of prejudices that the normal person doesn't get.
Yeah.
Um, like I've only held two jobs, two paying jobs in my entire life, and one of them I was fired from because I was way too slow, um, and everything. So I guess when my boys were babies, I knew that I had to do something while they were in school. And I didn't want it to take away from them.
Yeah.
Um, because I, when I was a little girl, all I wanted to do was grow up, get married, and have babies.
Yeah.
Um,
Me too.
that's how God wired me. Um, and everything. So, forget where we're going.
Well, I was my question was going to be, the primary goals for the next 1 to 3 years. But we were talking about your candle business, and that's how we met. And I purchased a lot of wax melts. The candles I can't burn because it makes me cough. But the wax melts, I was impressed. I When I
Thank
first saw
you.
you on social media, I was like, wow, this is so inspirational, and she's doing such a great job. You do such a great job with your social media. And I know that lately it was a struggle for you to continue going, but that doesn't mean that you gave up. That just means that you learned and you grew, actually, to go on to the next, which was my question is, what's your goal? What's your goal for the next 1 to 3 years?
Well, the reason I closed is I I didn't want to feel um like you had to like my videos to buy a candle, or you had to buy a candle. I didn't like that slimy feeling at the end of the video. Click my link in the bio.
Right.
That just didn't really feel very genuine and authentic to me. Um, so I guess I'm in a stage of redefining who I am,
Yeah.
and I'm not exactly sure where that's gonna go, but buckle up.
Yeah, buckle up. That's right. Buckle up, Buttercup.
That's
I'm
right.
excited. I'm excited for what God has for you in the next chapter because when one door closes, another one opens. And that's what I tell my son all the time. And I'm just so excited. You'll have to keep me updated on what's coming next and in your journey. And so, wow, that's so, so cool. But I did enjoy the wax melts and everything, and I still have a couple. I'm burning one
Oh,
today, as a matter of fact. I believe it's the pine cone one. even though it's not Even though it's not winter or fall yet, which I can't wait for that, but I really enjoyed it. But I'm looking forward for you to share with me at a later time what your what where God has brought you. And so um my next question is, if you have any advice at all for our listeners on how they can take that first step in using their voice to advocate for others or for themselves, what would that be to give that advice to anybody out there who's on the fence, they're disabled, they don't they don't feel right that anybody will listen, they don't feel that they have a purpose, they don't know where to start. um Sometimes it's fear because people can be really mean on social media, and sometimes it's fear because they want to be public to be heard, but then at the same time, being public can bring nasty comments. So I don't know if that ever happened to you with your candle business, and if it did, how you got over those kinds of comments. Um, I don't know. I just think that a lot of people they have that fear. And I'd like for you to share, like, how did you overcome that? How did you overcome, or did you even have any fear at all about that?
I guess the key to uh what you're asking is to make sure that you surround yourself with good people.
Yeah.
Um, and like translating that in its social media, be very, very, very careful with who you friend,
Yes.
who you allow yourself to be friends with, what groups you're involved with. Um, and if they in any way, shape, or form hurt your feelings and whatever, um, take some time out to analyze what happened, and if they need to go away and go from your life, then by all
Exactly.
means, that's okay.
That's okay. That's right.
That's that's called guarding your heart, and it's okay to protect yourself. Um,
Absolutely.
and oh my gosh, you really need to, in this day and age.
Yes.
Um,
Especially on social media,
yeah,
you
just
know?
be very careful.
Yes,
Um,
because there's a lot of people out there that will befriend um others. And if you're vulnerable and you're not on guard and you're not guarding your heart, you're going to fall into a trap. And usually what happens with that is you lose your trust. You lose your trust, and then you don't trust anybody at all.
like
And
if there's some small, still voice in the back of your head, then that's your cue to leave.
run,
Run
run.
as fast as you can. Run,
Exactly.
first run.
Yes, exactly. And to just protect your heart, because I can speak a little bit for my son because of his disabilities. He has not formed any friendships at all. And because he doesn't feel that he fits in. And do any of us, fit in? What is the mold that is called fitting in? Because everybody is unique. And I just feel that people need to embrace other people's different. Okay. This is why I
Right,
called my podcast Doing Different, because we need to embrace different. When I started doing different in my life, which actually goes chapter to chapter, it's probably, I wanted to say decade to decade, but I'm not that old yet. So I'll say like every 5 years, there's something different. And it started so long ago. And, nobody expects to suffer trauma. I'm sure your mom did not expect for that to happen. And I, I admire her for her courage to encourage you and to keep you positive. On the other hand, with me, when trauma hit with my son, I was so frazzled that I was it was almost as if I was in another state of mind or in another realm, because I wasn't prepared. Nobody is prepared, but I lacked that emotional maturity. And because of my past, because of my upbringing. And I just would panic over every little diagnosis, and my world would fall apart and it would just shatter. And so sometimes I go through that mom guilt, um, which I'm working on right now through my another site that I'm a founding member of called Grace Restored, and they have wonderful courses and worksheets. And I'm learning that the mom guilt, you can't allow that to sink in and be okay with it, because it's not okay. We did the best we could. I did the best I could with raising a disabled son. um you can't do what you don't know. And so the more you educate yourself, and back then it was really hard because we didn't just have, um, hey, Google, what's this and this and this mean? Hey,
Mhm.
we didn't have the AI that we have today, like what is that called? Chatbot or something. I'm
ChatGPT.
Yeah, yeah. A matter of fact, my doctor told me if you just want to know anything about what you should do for your kidney stones and your kidneys, just go to Chat GPT and ask them. And she goes, but don't tell anybody I said that. Well, now the whole world knows, but you don't know my doctor's name. So, but I would tell my son, I think that doing different needs to be embraced instead of seeing it as the enemy. It's not the enemy because each stage of doing different is making you into the person that God intends for you to be. But what I'm trying to say is years ago, I looked at doing different as horrific. Like, I hate change. I hate that things change. Losing a house after 20 years. Um, that was doing different for me. But instead of embracing it at that time, I thought my world was falling apart because of all the work and effort that we had put into that home. We did get to raise our kids in it, thank the Lord. But it was just a devastating. And it seems that a lot of my doing different is always, always like a devastating event, from the diagnoses of my son's many disorders to the loss of a home, to the loss of a parent, to the loss of a child, because I miscarried my first one, uh, to diagnoses in my health and my husband's health. So it just always seemed to me that I wasn't embracing it and I was going and sinking into a depression each time something different would happen. So today, with my podcast doing different, I am embracing and I'm encouraging everybody out there to please embrace your different and have mercy and grace on those who are different. Um, because like you said, you can do just as much as a non-disabled person. You can, have your social media too. But again, we have to guard our heart. And both of us, I'm public, not on my Facebook, but on YouTube and Spotify. And I'm assuming you're public as well. And so that is huge to guard our heart because we can't read the negativity comments. And so my suggestion for those who want to get into social media that are disabled or who have been in trauma, please don't let that stop you because your voice is louder than their voice. There's always going to be a troll. There's always going to be somebody to try to discourage you. Let your voice be bigger and your faith be bigger. And
Right.
just go for it. Like Joy, she's everywhere. I mean, she
Mm.
sent me her social media sites, which I'm going to be posting below, and she's even on TikTok. I haven't branched out to TikTok yet. How's that going, Joy? How is TikTok for you?
Well, TikTok's my very favorite platform ever,
Wow.
and I was scared to death of it because I heard all the negative and all the big scary things that you hear. It's a Chinese company and they're
Yeah,
gonna steal your data and all of that. Well, every company out there steals your data,
that's right.
period.
That's
Um,
right.
but the reason TikTok is so incredible for me is because back when I had my candle business, I had a couple creators um shout me out. And I got really big really fast because of the algorithm. And now granted it does take some time. You have to engage um and talk to whoever, but if you train the algorithm into what your preferences are and everything, it's a relatively safe space.
And you can
Um,
control that. You can control the algorithm because I'm not very familiar with TikTok other than my daughter is on there. And I'm like you. At the beginning, I was thinking, oh no, they're going to steal my data. It's a Chinese owned company. What are they going to do with it? And it's mostly a teenage site. I'm just not going to go that route. And to this day, I haven't done it, and I've been wanting to. So this algorithm that you speak of, those are all settings on there that you can filter and set.
take take the plunge.
Yeah.
Um, uh, People over there are very friendly, very nice. Um, Now granted, when one of these creators shouted me out, it happened to be um a male, which I'm very wary of, just because I am
Yeah.
uh, and everything. And so I had to I guess use my own filter and
Mhm.
determine whether this person was okay or wanted something else. Um,
Right. And then you block people on
oh,
TikTok?
absolutely. My block list is huge,
Yeah.
but my block list on Facebook is even bigger.
Yeah. Yeah. So you are public on all social media sites, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
and everything. It took me a long time to figure out how to work it. Um, but now I have a very good understanding of how to do it. I I physically took a year break from my candle business, and I'm like, okay, to get anywhere on social media, I need to learn uh how to do videos. And so I it was an uphill climb.
Yeah, I
Um
remember asking you about that back then is how because your videos were phenomenal. I loved them. They had the sound effects and they had perfect lighting and all of that. And I just was like, oh, how do you do that, you know? And I'm still gonna try to venture out like that in the future. Podcasting right now, and my website is the route that I'm going, but I would love to get with you sometime so you can give me some pointers.
Absolutely.
Have you ever thought about doing vlogging or a website of any type?
Well, I had my Canva website, and not to sound like there's a cop out, but in my experience, um, I didn't get much traction
No.
because Google is this such ginormous thing. I found I found my most success was on social media.
Okay, yes.
And I found the most success out of that success was my positive videos.
Yes.
Um, and my encouraging videos. And now, I mean, I'm trying my hardest to focus on videos just for the viewer. Like,
Yes.
you matter, you're
Yes.
important, you know, and because I don't know, I think too many of us get hung up in the voices in our head. And we all tend to ignore, I don't matter. I'm
Yeah,
not important.
exactly.
And how the heck are you gonna combat that? Sometimes you need somebody just to breathe in a little life to you with a 10-second video with you matter.
Yes.
Hey,
Yes.
you need to train your brain to think this way.
Exactly. And I think that's where you and I are thinking on the same, we're on the same page with that because I don't monetize this podcast at all. My goal strictly is to just get others' voices heard because they matter.
Yeah.
And so I think we're on the same page with that we want to encourage other people because of where we were at one time. Uh, everybody's different and everybody has a story, but it's those people that are scared to speak about it. And I want to give those people a voice and showcase them. And so I think it's great because when I see your videos, it cheers me up. I can be scrolling and I'll come across a video and you'll be standing there and looking into the camera and doing what you just did and saying, "You matter. You're special and you matter." And I think people need to be reminded of that. And sometimes a couple times a day. I know that there are some friends of mine that will send me um on Facebook chat, little things that will encourage me, like a prayer or saying thinking about you today. N- Some people don't realize how, just like you said, a 10-second video or taking time out to send somebody good morning, how are you? Thinking about you today, sending a card, um, how much that means to somebody,
Oh,
especially those who are like really at the end of their rope.
I'm a ginormous hugger. Now, how the heck can you hug on social media?
I
Well,
send virtual hugs all the time with my memes.
you matter.
That's right.
That's a hug.
That's a
You
hug.
know,
That's right.
sending love and sparkles,
That's right.
you know.
Exactly. I love it. And I know so many other friends of ours that are they know you and from another social media site that you and I were part or I was part of. um I've heard so many good things about you and I've heard
Thank
nothing
you.
but positivity and how you bring joy and to others' lives, and I so appreciate that joy, and I so pray that your future is going to be filled with the will of God and that He's going to take you to places that you never would have imagined, and that you're going to touch so many people's hearts. And even through this podcast, I'm going to make sure that it gets out there and into the world so everybody can see. And I just appreciate you being on this podcast today. And I want to let everybody know that that concludes our episode with Joy today. And I hope that her journey has resonated and encouraged and motivated you to start your journey and doing different. Embrace your different. And thank you again, Joy, so much for being my guest. And it's been such a pleasure speaking with you. And if anybody wants to follow Joy on social media, remember, I'm going to be putting the links down below so that you can follow her on her many different social media sites. And please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this podcast so we can get it out to as many women as possible so they don't feel so alone in their journeys. And if you are a woman over 50 and you have a story to share, a passion to ignite, or wisdom to impart, I would love for you to join me on my podcast. Again, all the information is included in the description of this podcast of how you can get a hold of me if you are interested in being interviewed on Doing Different with Kimmie. And until next time, keep doing different. Bye, Joy.
Bye.